electromagnetic spectrum topic is fine. In this, whenever where passes white line through the prism, it is split into series of colored band known as a spectrum. What is a spectrum? When white light pass through prism, it is split into series of colored band known as spectrum. So like this series, if you are, this is a prism, when any light are coming, it is splitted in different kind of band, right? This is just a splitting of spectral lines. It is known as a spectrum. Now a spectrum is two types. Is two type. A which consist all wavelength is called continuous spectrum. Continuous spectrum contains all wavelength, consist all wavelength, okay, all wavelength. Here clear wavelength is represented by lambda, so consist of all wavelength is called continuous spectrum. And when if any specific wavelength is present, this is called line spectrum, right? One is continuous, another is line spectrum. When a specific wavelength, this spectrum is considered for a specific wavelength, it is called line spectrum. So we have how many type of? One is continuous spectra, another is line spectra. It has, line spectrum has dark space between bright lines, right? Dark space between bright lines. Memorize this. Lines. This is dark space between bright lines. This is a specific type of wavelength is called line spectrum. Another was continuous spectrum. So two type of spectrum we have to study. Electromagnetic spectrum is continuous spectrum. It consists range of electromagnetic radiation. Understood? Electromagnetic spectrum is continuous spectrum. It consists range of electromagnetic radiation arranged in order to increasing wavelength and decreasing frequency. You know it is inversely related to each other. So decreasing, one is increases automatically, second is decrease. A spectrum also classify emission and line spectrum. So memorize this. And if you are taking this example, it is extend from radio wave to gamma rays. It extend from radio wave, whatever we had studied in electromagnetic radiation, to gamma rays. Right. Next is spectrum are also classified as emission and line spectrum. Emission and are also classified as emission and line spectrum. Right? We are taking first one, which is called emission spectrum. In this case, a spectrum of radiation emitted by substance of radiation emitted by substance that has absorbed energy. It is given as emission spectrum. Right. Another is absorption spectrum. Second type of spectrum is called in this, radiation passes through the sample of material. Pass through sample of material. The sample absorb radiation This is our idea about the electromagnetic spectrum. Whenever white light passes through a prism, it gives a band of light. This is known as a spectrum. Spectrum are two types. One is known as continuous spectrum, another is which having all wavelength. A specific wavelength, it means called line spectrum, dark between bright lines. Electromagnetic spectrum is continuous spectrum. It consists range of electromagnetic arrangement in order to increasing wavelength and decreasing frequency. Radioactive gamma rays. Next is electrospectrum is classify emission and line spectrum. This is an idea absorb energy, another was in sample, that is absorb energy. Then we are looking for atomic spectrum for hydrogen, right? Atomic hydrogen spectral lines. This is a very important topic for all of us. Atomic spectrum of hydrogen, right? In this case, we are getting so many spectral lines. If this is just a assumption, is the series of lines, and it is fall on the first cell. These all lines are dropped on this cell, like n is equal to 1. We are saying this is called Lyman's rays, right? This comes under the ultraviolet region. This is our ultraviolet region. First fall in n is equal to 1. It falls from like all the possibility greater than n is equal to 1. So n1 is 1, n2 is 2, 3, 4. Anywhere it falls from the infinite to first cell, that series is called Lehman series. Next is when spectral lines are fall from infinite to second, right? If it is fall from here, like we are taking example n is equal to 2, this is called Balmer series, and in this series is visible spectrum. It is observed by our eye. We are recognizing the colored here. Next is when spectral line is fall in third, right, series. It is called Paschen series, and it fall in infrared region. This fall in infrared region. Next again we have to do like this. We are writing, this is called bracket series. We have to use what is the n value. This is n value is 3, n value is 4. This is called bracket series. And then we have another two series is Fund series, where n is equal to 5. Another is n is equal to 6. It is Humphrey series, where spectral lines are fall like this. This is Humphrey series, where n is equal to 6. This is our spectral line, and it belongs all are between visible region. Other end we have all infrared region, and previous one is ultraviolet region. So this is our spectral lines for the elements of this is called hydrogen atom spectrum. Lehman, Balmer, Paschen, or the transition of element from one series to another series. So memorize, this is the idea we have to memorize. When some spectral lines from the infinite to reach at first stage, it is called Lehman, Balmer, Paschen, bracket, Fund, and Humphrey. Then we have to little idea about the Bohr model of hydrogen atom. In this we have to what is the angular momentum. We will discuss in next video. Then this Bohr's model. After Bohr's model, we will do very important topic in this chapter is quantum number, followed by the next class. Thank you.